Okay, y'all, let's get right to it. First, I want to talk about this Shein influencer trip, and then we'll get into Trump a little bit later. So apparently this Shein influencer trip is something where Shein was just like, hey girls, we've seen, I'm just, gay paraphrasing, y'all know how I do over here. Shein was just like, hey girls, we've seen how we're in the news. They didn't say this obviously, but I'm sure their PR team was just like, look, we in the news a lot about our fucking human rights violations and all type of shit, factories and all type of bullshit. So how about we invite some influencers out? And these are the influencers. Just keep this in mind. Okay, just take a look at, because I just find it interesting that a lot of companies somehow they cannot find like minority people to do things unless it's things like this. Until it's things like this, then all of a sudden they find lists of people who are minorities. But now, but other times they acting like they so hard to find. Either way, I just thought that was very very interesting. Either way. They were just like, they got these influencers and they were just like, we gonna take y'all to China to one of our factories or whatever, so y'all could come and look and see and take videos and post whatever. But obviously it was all the way in China. And keep in mind, this was not a paid thing. Now, they did get them out there. They did pay for their travel. They did, whatever. But apparently they did not pay them. So it's just, and keep in mind, like I said, we just saw it was minority people there, minority influencers. It's just interesting what's going on. So, going forward, they walking around this motherfucking factory that looks pristine. I mean, like they just built it just for this thing, which it's just ridiculous. And then they just walking around taking pictures. And then they got these influencers posting on their pages and posting, or in the video as well, talking about, it just gives me a greater sense of, just having a better understanding of what goes on in the factories, allows me to shop more confidently. And I'm just like, girl, you think that first of all, you think that this is actually, I just feel like people ain't using their critical thinking skills. And they see a moment and just try to hop onto it without like actually turning on the noggin. I don't know. It just feels like they got the minorities to get down there and do the dirty work. And I'm talking about like doing the dirty work. It looked like, I don't know, to me, when y'all put out these videos, knowing good and well that the shit that they do to make, shit that a lot of companies do to make their products, especially like these large corporations that pay all these people low wages to do it. Like a lot of these companies, the way they get their products is fucked up. So knowing that, and then them knowing that that, them not paying you anything but flying you out to one of these alleged factories, and then I mean, like I said, you're not getting paid for this shit. Knowing what's going on, and then you get on here talking about, oh yeah, girl, I mean, yeah, it's great. Come on over. Like, you really doing the hard work. You getting on there scrubbing the ground and they're not even paying you. So yeah, the purpose of it was just to turn that wig around, just to turn that messaging around. And this is coming from Mashable. That messaging, of course, is diametrically opposed to what we know about Shein's working conditions. A 2021 Public Eye report found that Shein workers in that area in China were paid low wages for 75-hour work weeks, with 1 day off per month. The UK's Channel 4 did a documentary in 2022 that documented similar working conditions. So yeah, it's not like I don't know that a large number of companies do this kind of work very unethically, or they source this kind of work very unethically, and they have these workers being paid low wages in really shitty working conditions. Like, I mean, we know that, and that's something that, like, across industries, that's an issue that needs to be discussed and needs to be dealt with. But for you to get on here pretending like your ass don't know that shit and getting paid $0 to spread this message around like they really trying to, like they really got this shit together, like these workers are being treated fairly, it's just so weird to me to be doing. And it's just like, I would say that, okay, y'all doing it for the money, and that shit would be a terrible reason, but like I said, you ain't even get no money out of it. I don't get it. I mean, the internet will always be the internet, so this ain't nothing new, but this is just something that has been, circulating the, I guess, airwaves, social media waves, and had a lot of people talking, rightfully so. But I'm just like, girl, if y'all gonna sell y'all soul, at least put a price tag on that hoe. Okay. Let's talk about these Trump tapes. Y'all already know that Trump was indicted because he was holding on to classified documents, and he should not have had them at all after he left office, and he was showing them to people who didn't have no clearance, all types. It was just crazy. You're not even supposed to have the shit. And then you showing it to people, right? Now, like I said, watching the US government cannibalize itself is just, grab your popcorn, because it's just all around a mess. So to try and defend himself, he said, you know what? Well, these documents that y'all are talking about, they're actually not classified because I declassified them. That's what, just with the power of my mind, I guess, girl, you're not president anymore. So I don't know what, or you're like, he just had no power to declassify them in the first place. And he acted like, or after he got charged, or when the news of this was dropping, that he was being investigated, he was talking about, well, they have no right to because I declassified them. And it's just like, you really think that you got some reality warping powers like Miss Maximoff, and that is definitely not the case. And the tapes show that he knew that. And it's just like, duh, he knew that. He's lying to y'all. Like, but it just is great for the legal process that they have it. They have him literally on tape doing the shit, and also saying that he knew that he should not have been doing it, or that he knew that this shit was still classified. So here it goes.
They had sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
It started right at the beginning.
Like when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute, let's see here. This totally wins my case,
Mm-hmm.
Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time,
he'd say that, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so. Look, here I have. And you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
it's incredible, right?
No,
hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
And so what's interesting is that you hear by how the staffers and stuff speak to him, that they be feeding him exactly what he wants to hear. That you hear the staffer talking about, that was your coup. They were trying to overthrow your election, or whatever she was saying. They were in there feeding his fucking ego, and I'm sure trying to manipulate him to their own ends, like, because it's easy. It seems to be easy. So he was over here saying this was the Defense Department, showing them documents. We looked at some. He talked about how they were pages long. Then he said, well, it's highly confidential, secret information. And they were in there laughing like, ha, like, okay. Ain't y'all supposed to be the patriotic ones that know all about the rules and classified documents and this and respect the flag and all shit? Like, why y'all laughing at confidential fucking... Y'all could be... Anyway. And then you hear how one of the staffers was just like, oh, well, Hillary would print that all the time, like print the confidential classified information all the time. Like, they telling him, trying to like egg him on. It's just so sick. It's so crazy to listen to them, like, just dangle whatever he wants whatever he wants to hear in front of his face, and like just stroke his ego. But it goes on. He says, you see, as president, I could have declassified it, but now I can't. And it's just like, so I know the prosecution is like, girl, here, just get this man out my face. Get this man out of our faces. And then I love how it ends with bringing some Cokes, please. Just absolute mess. Just thought I'd let you all know what's going on. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.